Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the postgame show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith, but my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape, but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics. And we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Solon, O'Connor, and Marsh back on defense. And Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway at 2-0. A shot, and a goal! So, 3-3. The power play was officially over.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital world.
It's October 26, 1997. Game 7 of the World Series between the Cleveland used to be called the Indians and the Florida Marlins. You know what? We're going to call them the Indians because the Marlins are now known as Miami Marlins. Anyway, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. It's the bottom of the 11th inning. Things aren't looking great for the Guardians/Indians, but it was bases loaded and 1 out. If Cleveland can just get an out, they can still win its first World Series since 1948. As for the Marlins, this is their first trip to the Fall Classic. In fact, the Fighting Fish just began 5 short years ago, and you guessed it, this is their first trip to the postseason. What a way to potentially get your franchise's first ever World Series win. Game 7 on a walk-off win in front of your home fans. Remember, with the bases full of Marlins, there are several ways that Florida can win the game besides a base hit, wild pitch, a pass ball hit by a pitch, catcher's interference, a walk, or a balk can give the Marlins their first ever World Championship. All the pressure seems to be on Indians pitcher Charles Nagy, or is the weight of the world really on Edgar Renteria in the batter's box? To answer that question, let's rewind. As previously talked about, the Indians are looking to win their first World Championship since 1948. In fact, from 1955 until the strike-short 1994 season, the Indians were basically the doormat of the American League. Bill Veeck, former owner of the Indians, decided to become the first American League team to allow African Americans to play Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson gets all the glory for breaking the color barrier, but Larry Doby was discriminated against just as bad, if not worse, as the legendary Brooklyn Dodgers first baseman and later shortstop. Veeck was so worried about Doby having a terrible experience and even Doby's safety that he didn't even allow Larry to play in Cleveland's minor league system. It wasn't much easier for Doby once he left the Negro Leagues to play in the majors. There wasn't a designated hitter at the time, and Cleveland felt secure at second base and shortstop with Lou Boudreau at short and Joe Gordon at second base. His teammates weren't thrilled about Doby taking their everyday position, and it got so bad for Doby that he had to borrow a first baseman from the opposing team since the Indians never told him he'd be playing first base, and his teammates wouldn't give him a glove. His rookie season was a tough one, both on and off the field, as Doby batted just .156 in 1947. But in 1948, Doby was a key piece on the 1948 World Series ball club as he led the Indians with a .318 clip and became the first black player to hit a home run in the Fall Classic. Keep in mind that Doby had to play center field every day after not playing much of the outfield coming into the major leagues. Whether you believe in karma or not, the Indians won the 1948 World Series just a year after integrating the American League. Doby, fellow African-American teammate Satchel Paige, and the rest of the Indians became national celebrities, and they made appearances in the movie The Kid from Cleveland. Doby played in 7 consecutive All-Star games from 1949 to 1955, and he won the home run title twice. His combination home run and RBI title in 1954 helped the Indians win the American League pennant, but the New York Giants swept the 111-win Indians in 4 games. Ironically, the Giants entered the 1997 season without a World Series championship since sweeping Cleveland. Things started to get bad rather quickly for the Indians. Not only did they not win a pennant for 40 years, but Indians writer Terry Pluto explained the Indians' misfortunes due to a curse. Starting in 1959, the Indians never finished more than 11 games out of first place for the pennant. Not only did the Indians not win a division crown until 1995, but Terry Pluto jokingly came up with a reason for the Indians' pain: the curse of Rocky Colavito. When the Indians traded away fan favorite and consistent all-star slugger Rocky Colavito in 1960, Pluto joked in his book, The Curse of Rocky Colavito, that Rocky put a curse on the franchise since they traded him to Detroit while still in the prime of his career. Even when the Indians got Colavito back in the 1960s, it cost them Tommy John and Tommy Agee. John finished just shy of 300 wins once he left the Indians, and Agee was a key piece on the Miracle Mets of the 1969 World Series. After the Indians traded away Jim Mudcat Grant to the Twins, Grant won 78 more games, including 21 in 1965, to help the Twins win the American League pennant. After the team won a surprising 84 games in 1986, the team lost over 100 games in 1987, following the famous Sports Illustrated tagline of "Indian Uprising, Indians are the best team in the American League." Joe Carter was originally a Cleveland Indian. You might remember Joe Carter's famous walk-off homer during Game 6 of the 1993 Fall Classic as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. However, Bobby Bragan famously cursed the team of never winning another pennant after getting terminated from his managerial position in 1958. Bragan forever denied that he cursed the team. Whether the Indians are cursed or not, the team was basically a non-factor when it came to postseason baseball. But after Albert Bell, Jim Thome, Kenny Lofton, Roberto Alomar, and Stanley Alomar Jr. became part of the everyday lineup, the Indians were now in business. The 1994 season saw the Indians finish 1 game out of first place in the newly revamped American League Central. When baseball returned in 1995, the Indians won their first ever division title. The Indians incredibly won 100 games out of a strike short 144. Cleveland swept Boston and then overcame the upstart Mariners 4-2 to get back to the World Series. The Indians won the last 3 games against Seattle to advance to the Fall Classic. Everything seemed to go well for Cleveland. They didn't have to play the Yankees in the ALCS due to Edgar Martinez's famous double in extra innings, and they had a much better record than the Braves. But the big three of Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz was too much for Cleveland to handle during the Fall Classic. Maddux and Glavine won 3 out of the 4 games of the series, and Cleveland's unstoppable offense managed just 1 hit in Game 6. Even though the Indians had the better record, the series was in Atlanta due to the National League not getting home field in the 1994 World Series. At that time, the NL and the AL would switch seasons about having home field advantage for the Fall Classic. Cleveland hit just 179 as a team, with Carlos Berga making the last out in Games 1, 2, and 6. The Indians are now back in the World Series 2 years later and are looking to finally get over the hump. The problem is the Florida Marlins might be more talented than the Indians. Let me explain. This 97 Marlins team is stacked, and they have former Pirates manager Jim Leyland leading the club. Leyland knows all about Game 7s, as his Pirates lost multiple Game 7s in the most heartbreaking of ways, including the walk-off base hit by the Braves during Game 7 of the 92 NLCS. If anyone knows how to learn from previous blunders or bad breaks, it's Leyland. But do the Marlins actually need the breaks to go their way? Not really. Remember, this is a Marlins team led by Gary Sheffield, Kevin Brown, Bobby Bonilla, Moises Alou, and others. This team is absolutely stacked. Granted, the Marlins got their fair share of breaks during Game 5 of the 97 NLCS. After sweeping the Giants during the NLDS, Eric Gregg's strike zone in Game 5 of the NLCS was absolutely absurd. It was so bad that Baseball America listed his Game 5 strike zone on left-handed hitters as the 3rd worst in MLB history. Gregg's strike zone allowed the Marlins to win Game 5, and they didn't take their new momentum for granted by winning Game 6 in Atlanta. Just like that, a franchise which began in 1993 was 4 wins away from getting World Series championship rings. I actually left off some people on this roster. Luis Castillo and Craig Counsell were on this roster as well. Rob Nen was the seemingly unhittable closer, and Al Leiter was in the starting rotation as well. It doesn't get much better than this, a World Series Game 7 that went into extra innings. But how we got here is a Cinderella story in its own right. Looking for its first World Series title since the days of Bill Beck, Cleveland has had some problems when it comes to pitching. The Indians have scored at least 7 runs in 3 of their World Series games against Florida. How many wins did they get? Just 2. One of the reasons the Fish force a Game 7 is a back-and-forth 14-11 slugfest Game 3 against the American League champions. Florida scored 7 runs in the top of the 9th, and the Indians made things interesting by putting up a 4 spot in the bottom half of the frame. Ned was dreadful that night, but he still hung on after walking 2 batters and allowing 4 earned runs. Florida's offense has definitely not been the problem this series, as the Marlins won 7-4 in Game 1 and 8-7 in Game 5. The Indians rallied again in the bottom of the 9th inning during Game 5. Nen gave up a couple of base hits, but the Marlins hung on for the dub with the tying run at second. The winner of tonight's game gets the Commissioner's Trophy. The loser of Game 7 only gets a pennant flag on its home stadium. And when the Indians entered the diamond in the bottom of the 9th, it sure looked like they would be the champions. After holding the Marlins to a single run in Game 6, the Indians' pitching staff finally got back on track at the right time during most of Game 7. Jarrett Wright pitched 6 1/3 innings of great baseball, but his 5 walks pushed up his pitch count, forcing manager Mike Hargrove to go to the bullpen. The Marlins entered the bottom of the 9th with a 2-1 deficit. Hope was still there for the Marlins, though, especially since Indians closer Jose Mesa gave up a triple last night, 3 hits during Game 5, and 2 hits and a wild pitch during Game 3. He's been a little wild, to say the least. In a nutshell, Mesa was anything but a sure-thing closer going into Game 7. Brian Anderson looked fine in the bottom of the 8th inning. Granted, he only went up against 1 batter. Also, Mesa was a 2-time All-Star going into the 97 season and was the 1995 Rolaids Reliever of the Year. But, as what happened earlier in the series, Mesa could not get a 1-2-3 save. Moises Alou started the rally with a leadoff single. Bonilla struck out swinging, but catcher Charles Johnson put the game-tying run on third. Grove was issuing signals from the dugout to catcher Sandy Alomar Jr. Did Johnson know that a slider was coming because he was easily reading Hargrove's signals? With runners on the corners, a double play would in theory end the game, but Craig Counsell did what he had to do, and a line drive to the grounds crew had to quickly remove the champagne once Counsell connected to the game-tying sacrifice fly RBI. Mesa almost blew the game in the bottom of the 10th, but a strikeout with runners in first and second helped force an 11th inning. Not everything can be blamed on Mesa and Hargrove. The Indians could have put the game away in the top of the 5th. Omar Vizquel stole second and third base respectively, but Cleveland simply couldn't add to its slim lead. But Mesa blew the save, and the Indians didn't do anything offensively in the 10th and 11th innings. And now with 2 outs, the Indians are hoping that Renteria won't make solid contact. Renteria wasn't supposed to bat this inning. Jim Eisenreich pinch hit for Florida, and with him batting .364 during the postseason, Hargrove asked for Nagy to intentionally walk him to load the bases. Bases loaded, of course, means a force at any base. Tony Fernandez, who made a huge error earlier in the inning, made a fantastic play at home to preserve the tie. For the inning-ending double play, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's not Fernandez's fault that the Indians are in the spot. Actually, Fernandez has the only 2 RBI for Cleveland tonight. Delivered a walk-off hit during Game 1 of the '97 Division Series is no easy out. He's also quite speedy as he stole 32 bases during the regular season. Any slow-moving ground ball could be an infield single if the Renteria also has an inside-the-park home run as part of his short but impressive MLB resume. Well, here we go. Renteria, who has 5 go-ahead hits in extra innings this season, can be the hero. And Nagy, who's not a bullpen pitcher by trade, has to keep pitching to preserve Cleveland's dream season. Can the Indians officially end the curse of Rocky Colavito? Or will the Marlins go against the norm and win the World Series as a baby franchise? This could be Florida's only shot at a World Series championship, as reports are owner Wayne Huizenga will try to drastically cut payroll following the season. The Indians would not return to the World Series until 2016. Cleveland still hasn't won the World Series since 1948. Florida would win the World Series again in 2003.
It's October 26th, 1991, Game 6 of the '91 World Series at the Metronome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's an unlikely matchup between the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins. The Twins won the World Series just 4 years ago, but like the Braves, they weren't supposed to be here. Kirby Puckett is at the plate, and you might know what happens next on this 2-1 pitch. And for that, I'll give you a virtual high five due to your ability to use the internet. But for those of you who don't want to cheat via Wikipedia or BaseballReference.com, let's get in that DeLorean and crank it to 88 miles per hour. It's time to travel back in time, or as SB Nation would say, let's rewind. The 1991 Fall Classic was far from straight chalk when it comes to the gambling mindsets of sports bettors. According to TampaBay.com, the Braves were once 250-1 odds-on favorites to win the World Series. If you bet $100 on the Twins in spring training, that was a great bet, as they were 100-1 odds to win it all. In fact, both teams finished in last place in their respective divisions the year prior. The Braves were actually in the National League West back then, and although they'd be dominant in the later part of the decade, the beginning of the 1990s wasn't friendly to Bobby Cox's team. The first year of the 90s saw the Braves finish the regular season at just 65-97, but general manager John Schuerholz saw something in Cox, and the fiery skipper became the head honcho on June 23, 1990, replacing Russ Nixon. It didn't lead to an improvement when it came to wins. The Braves were 25-41 when Nixon received the pink slip, and they finished the year 26 games out of first with Cox as the manager. Still, the players seemed to respond to the 50-year-old skipper the next season. The Braves were notably better, but a World Series appearance still seemed very unlikely on July 11th. A .500 record at just 40-40, the Braves were on the cusp of being sellers at the trade deadline. But then something happened. The Braves just refused to lose. An incredible 54-28 finish to the season saw the Braves 4 wins away from a National League pennant. They clinched the division on a second-to-last of the season, with the Braves remaining in first place from September 20th until the clincher on October 5th. The stunned Los Angeles Dodgers couldn't believe it. How could a Braves team who were at .500 practically halfway through the season keep them from an NL pennant? As for the Braves themselves, next came the Pittsburgh Pirates, led by Silver Slugger Barry Bonds. If the regular season was crazy enough for Atlanta sports fans to start believing, the 1991 National League Championship Series was something we probably won't ever see again. 4 shutouts took place in the series, including 3 1-0 shutouts. The Pirates were the heavy favorites to advance to the World Series. A 98-win team, the Pirates won the division by an easy 14 games. John Smiley won 20 games for the Buccos, the last time a Pirates pitcher won 20 games during the 20th century. Doug Drabick was the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, and with Bombs and Bobby Bonilla still in the primes of their careers, there's no way that Bobby Cox's Cinderella story could still wear their gold slipper going into the championship round, right? Wrong. Tom Glavine, the 1991 NL Cy Young winner, was on this Braves team, but he actually underperformed in the series. Game 1 went to the better-seeded Pirates, a well-deserved 5-1 win to the higher seed as the Pirates scored the game's first 5 runs. Glavine was the loser in this one by walking 3 batters and giving up 4 unearned runs. Atlanta's David Justice hit a leadoff homer in the top of the 9th inning, but it was just too late as the Pirates took a 1-0 series lead. The Braves found a way to split the first 2 games at Three Rivers Stadium, with Steve Avery leading the way to a 1-0 shutout. Game 3 was all Braves. A 10-3 win as John Smoltz was the much better pitcher in the Braves' first home playoff game in nearly a decade. But games 4 and 5 were won by the Pirates, including a seemingly back-breaking 1-0 shutout victory in Atlanta. Zane Smith led the way for Pittsburgh in Game 5, and with their backs against the wall, Atlanta had to somehow win both games on the road to make their first World Series since arriving in the capital of Georgia. The Braves just wouldn't let their dream season die. Not only that, but they held the Pirates scoreless for the last 22 innings of the series. From the top of the 6th in Game 5 until the final out in Game 7, the Pittsburgh Pirates couldn't muster a single run. A 1-0 crushing defeat in Game 6 saw the Pirates 1 win away from elimination, and after the Braves scored 3 runs in the top of the first inning during Game 7, the Buccos offense went ice cold down the stretch. Steve Avery stole the show. He didn't give up a single run in his 2 starts. 16 2/3 innings pitched for the young stud on the mound, and he of course won NLCS MVP. But the Braves weren't the only weird newcomer to the postseason party. Just 4 years earlier, the Minnesota Twins were World Series champions. Gone were the days of Harmon Killebrew and Rod Carew, but these new Twinkies were still fan favorites. Kirby Puckett, a former junior college player, led the charge in center field. But interestingly enough, not a single player on the Twins had 100 runs batted in during the 91 regular season. The Twins weren't a team known for power. Puckett only drilled 15 homers in 1991, a huge contrast to the 1987 squad when he hit 28 homers. The 1991 Twins were scrappy, annoying, and hard to beat. Designated hitter Chili Davis was the only Twin with over 25 home runs, and the lone 20-game winner on the pitching staff wasn't future Hall of Famer Jack Morris. That distinction went to Scott Erickson. Still, the Twins cruised to an AL West Division title by commanding 8 games. And after dismantling the Toronto Blue Jays in just 5 games during the ALCS, it looked like the Twins had the upper hand for the 1991 World Series crown. After all, the Braves barely squeezed into the World Series, while the Twins looked like the far more superior team. But the World Series started anyway, with Cox proving to the rest of the world that he would become one of the game's all-time great managers. Down in an early 0-2 hole, the Braves looked like a completely different ball club when they flew back to Atlanta. 3 straight victories at the old Fulton County Stadium, including a 14-5 convincing victory over the seemingly unbeatable Twins, put the Twins in major trouble. Just like that, Tom Kelly's squad looked all but done. The problem was, they weren't. Plus, they still got to go back home for Games 6 and 7, assuming they could force a Game 7. The 1991 World Series became one of the all-time greats, and Game 6 was no exception to the rule. The Twins struck first with 2 ball players crossing home plate in the bottom of the first inning. The Braves seemed to have the momentum back after Terry Pendleton hit a 2-run bomb in the top of the 5th. Determined to play Game 7 at the old Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, the Twins got the lead back in the bottom of the frame. And after battling to a leadoff walk, Don Gladden stole second base. A couple of flyouts later, including the sacrifice fly by Puckett, gave the Twins the lead back. But don't count these Braves out. Up by a run in the top of the 7th, Kelly allowed starting pitcher Scott Erickson to run back out there. But after a leadoff single to Mark Lemke, Kelly had no choice but turn to Mark Guthrie. Guthrie started off okay with a strikeout to Jeff Blauser, but then location and accuracy came to bite him in the butt. A walk to Lonnie Smith, including a can't-have-it wild pitch, put Kelly in a tough spot. Guthrie was able to jam Terry Pendleton, but with Chuck Knobloch playing a double-play depth, Pendleton's little nubber got enough of the AstroTurf to give him ample time to claim the infield single. Just like that, we have bases loaded, and Kelly was forced to go to the bullpen yet again. In came Carl Willis. It was also decision time for Kelly. Should he bring the infield in, bring in the corners and play double play depth, or play double play depth around the infield? The Twins decided to play back with the middle infield, and it cost them. Ron Gant's ground ball in between the third base and shortstop hole allowed him to beat out the fielder's choice, and the Braves were once again in business.
Gant with a good jump out of the box just beats the play.
A 3-3 tie with runners on the corners. Willis was in a huge pickle, but he threw a devastating 2-2 off-speed pitch to Davis Justice to get him to swing and miss. The lead was gone, but the tie still remained. The Twins had a golden opportunity to retake the lead in the bottom of the eighth. Puckett stole second base with 2 outs, but Shane Mack couldn't drive him in. Nobody got close to tying it in the ninth, so Braves fans had to wait until extra innings to see if their team would be sipping the champagne in the locker room. Remember, this was a big deal for Braves fans. Atlanta hadn't won a World Series since relocating from Milwaukee, and the city of Atlanta had never seen a professional sports team win a championship up to this point. Atlanta nearly obtained their first lead of Game 6 in the top of the 10th. A leadoff single by Pendleton looked to be great for the Braves, but a stolen base attempt, or perhaps a hit and run, led to a slow-moving line drive and an easy double play for the Twins. So much for that potential rally. The Twins went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 10th, so we went to the 11th. The Braves somehow got another leadoff single, this time by Sid Bream. However, Bream probably should have been at second base, if not for his oft-injured right knee. He crushed the first pitch down the first base line, but couldn't advance into scoring position. Keith Mitchell had to pinch run for him, and in this era of old-school baseball, stolen bases were more commonplace. Mitchell got caught stealing on the first pitch of Brian Hunter's at-bat, and that pretty much did in the rally. No more base runners for the Braves. Should Cox allow Alejandro Pena to pitch into the 11th? Pena might be needed for Game 7, so Cox is pretty much forced into allowing Charlie Liebrant to man the rubber in the bottom of the 11th. Liebrant probably wasn't the ideal choice. He had an ERA over 4 coming into this pitching appearance, and with Puckett leading off the inning, Cox was just praying Liebrant could force a 12th frame. And now Puckett can make history with a walk-off blast. But to understand how memorable this home run could be for Puckett, you have to know his life's history. Puckett grew up on the south side of Chicago. He was so small for center field, just 5'8", that he didn't receive a single scholarship once he graduated from Calumet High School. He actually entered the workforce right out of prep school at the Ford Motor Company. Luckily for him, Bradley University, an NCAA Division I school in the Missouri Valley Conference, gave him a shot. He then had to transfer to Triton College due to becoming academically ineligible at Bradley. However, he had what it took to play at the next level, and the Twins took a huge risk by drafting a junior college ball player with the 3rd overall pick in 1982. They obviously didn't regret taking the shrimp beef but full of energy ball player. He ended up making it to the big show in 1984 and helped lead the Twins to a World Series championship 3 years later, their first one since relocating from Washington, D.C. He never missed the All-Star game since 1986, and he was the 1991 ALCS MVP award. He was absolutely brilliant coming into this at-bat. He tripled in Knobloch, made an unbelievable catch in the 3rd inning, and has 2 of the 3 Twins' RBIs tonight. According to multiple reports, he told players in the clubhouse they could jump on his back tonight and he would carry them to victory. Well, here we stand. A 2-1 count on Puckett. It's a tie game in the bottom of the 11th. Can Puckett get on base or even crush a legendary walk-off homer to preserve Minnesota's incredible season? Or can Liebrant jam Puckett and face off against Chili Davis, who is already 0 for 4 on the night? Here comes the 4th pitch of the at-bat. Welcome to a moment in history.
The hitter swings at the arm motion. Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
The Twins went on to win a memorable Game 7 by a final score of 1-0. Jack Morris pitched an unbelievable 10-inning shutout.
It's October 26, 1997. Game 7 of the World Series between the Cleveland used to be called the Indians and the Florida Marlins. You know what? We're going to call them the Indians because the Marlins are now known as Miami Marlins. Anyway, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. It's the bottom of the 11th inning. Things aren't looking great for the Guardians/Indians, but it was bases loaded and 1 out. It's June 9th, 2010. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final is taking place between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Philadelphia Flyers. Thanks for watching our NHL version of Rewinder. Make sure to comment below and subscribe to Sports Broadcast Solutions.
This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world. A broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the postgame show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith, but my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sports Broadcast Solutions. Kyle Smith alongside Kara Lentz. Second half about to begin. And Kara, the good news for St. Pat's, they get the ball to start the second half. The bad news, we didn't see enough defensively from St. Pat's to slow down this Fenwick offense.
Going to be a big point of focus here to start the third quarter, but give credit to St. Pat's. Started to really click on their offense, really ground it down late in the second quarter, was good, and coming up with fourth down conversions and punching it in.
We've had a lot of interesting songs through the PA system, a lot of old school tonight, and I'm digging it.
Well, your halftime show was great, Kyle. Yeah, that was a lot of talent. If only there were a camera in the booth. Right?
I've got some dance moves. I especially when I have some malt-based beverages in me, I've got some dance moves. 29-21 in favor of Fenwick is surprising too, Kara. This is a Fenwick team. They've had their ups and downs. They're only 3-3. They had a quarterback who had 4 interceptions in the opener, but he has not looked like that quarterback tonight. He's been very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the play alive, keeping his vision upfield, and give credit to his receiving core as well with the ability to get that one-on-one coverage and be open.
Well, we saw an onside kick to start the game. Fenwick took advantage of it and scored. We'll see if Fenwick has enough moxie to want to do that. They're up by 8. And if St. Patrick scores another touchdown, especially on this opening drive, will they decide to go for 2 or wait till the end of the game? It's an okay kick. It's a one-hopper picked up at the 25, right into contact as the sophomore tackles him near the 40. Nathaniel has been great. Number 90, Nathaniel Marshall, plays both tight end and defensive line on this team. Forward progress, going to mark it at the 39. 1st and 10 for St. Pat's, 61 yards away from the end zone. Need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. Do not have to go for 2 yet, but you assume St. Pat's will do it if they score on this opening drive. Tackle for loss. Wozni been pretty much bottled up by this Fenwick front. Getting instant penetration that time, the captain, Mirko Jaksic. A couple of colleges are looking at him, including Dayton and Georgetown. He talked with Edgy Tim before the season. He said it was going to be a challenge, but this Fenwick team is up to the task, and they're looking for their 4th win of the season. Clean pocket. Over to Lemke. Lemke with some good yards after catch. Still on his feet, brought down inside the 45. Partner, you got to get lower on that tackle. Good job by Lemke, but Fenwick should have had him at the point of attack. There is an injury on the field. You hate to see it. And it's one of their better players, too, Gladden, who was dominating the first half running the ball. The dangers of playing both sides of the ball. Cramps more likely to happen. Injuries more likely to happen. And we will take a quick break. We hope the best for Gladden. You're watching SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape, but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics, and we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
That's what makes small football teams kind of interesting. Carrot players play on both sides of the ball because they've got smaller depth charts. This is the problem with it, though. One of your better players got hurt playing on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, the prone to injury is a little bit more available if you play both sides of the ball.
But when you don't trust other players, you only have a 60 to 70 deep team. Chances of your stars playing on both sides of the ball are higher. We'll keep you updated on Gladden as we get later on in the game. Handoff over to Wozni. He's stuffed. At partner, they're going to have to go east and west because north and south is not working on this Fenwick defense right now.
And Wozni has the capability to get to the outside and find that open flank along the sideline. There's some good players on this team for St. Pat's who can have that lateral run.
2nd and 11, ball placed. We'll call it the 42. They're technically marking it the 42 and a half. Text line still open. Your favorite high school, college, or NFL memory. Text 330-957-7653. Wozni tackled in the open field. It was a nice little wheel route that time by Wozni. 3rd and manageable coming up most likely 4-down territory for the Shamrocks. Their last drive, they converted 3 times, so they're not afraid to go for it on 4th down. 3rd and 5, trips to the left, trying to confuse the Friars. Friars in a zone defense look. Over to Wozni, he didn't get much. Lemke shows his frustration. Hands on the hips in disapproval. You got to be careful too, Kara. If you don't get it, Friars have good field position. Again, if you punt, Friars have to go the length of the field. But the Shamrocks are going to go for it. Trips to the left. Clean pocket for Dustin. He's got a man. Completed and more. Lemke. Yards after catch. Crucial tonight, and he's showing it tonight. He's lethal in the open field, partner. Got the catch and ran upfield with it.
Great job by Lemke being able to get plenty of yards after that reception and that catch, and now puts his team within striking distance.
1st and 10 inside the 20. They're going to mark it close to the 15. Ball plays at the 16. 1 in the slot. Look out for Brosnan. He's on the left. In the pocket, Dustin flushed out, and he throws it away. No choice for Dustin but to throw that one away. Instant pressure by Jaksic. Wow. They're calling that flag instantly, Kara. It was a little ticky-tack, but the Shamrocks will take it. It's half the distance. So it'll be 1st and goal at the 7. So both teams getting some breaks off the flags. Fenwick scored on a defensive pass interference that looked like OPI and roughing the quarterback. Now 1st and goal at the 7. Wozni, east and west, eyeing the goal line, and he scores! Wozni on a 7-yard touchdown run. He had an 8-yarder earlier. 29-27. Decision time for Mertens. Schwab not on the field yet. You don't have to kick. And there's a call by the official. Chop block against St. Pat's. No touchdown. Huge break for Fenwick as it looked like St. Pat's had all the momentum back. First and goal at the 22. You got to get within range for Schwab at the very least. Dustin handles the snap well to the end zone. Partially deflected, looking for the interception, but out of the hands. Good idea, but just a little bit too much air on it. Easy for the defensive back to get back into the play. 2nd and goal at the 22. Care if you kick, you're down 5. You'd like to get inside the 15, right, to consider a field goal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Need about 7 to be in reasonable range for Schwab. You'd like to get it to the 10 if you can. 2nd and goal at the 22. And an early timeout again by Fenwick.
There is a time on the field charged at 2 timeout. That is the first timeout of the second half.
We'll stick with the action. What do you think that head coach, Matt Battaglia, is talking to his boys right now?
Well, I think they got to really button up, and be tougher on that defensive line. I think that the run game, the lateral game for St. Pat's is definitely starting to open up a little bit. But this is a St. Pat's team that's really starting to test them out on the defense in a variety of ways. What do you think he's saying?
I'd say just keep everything in front of you. Field goal hurts, but the touchdown would really hurt, especially because Fenwick got that big lead. To see it go back to a tie score, granted, this is really each team's home field, but still, it looks like there's more St. Pat fans here tonight than Fenwick fans.
You don't want this to be a tie score. Keep everything in front of you. Probably play a little zone look. Keep 2 guys deep on the goal line. Make sure everything's in front of you. Come up and tackle. Don't be afraid to make that tackle. For St. Pat's, you'd love to score, but got to find a way to get points on that board. If you can get a stop, a field goal and a touchdown would give you the lead. Obviously, you'd love to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, but hard to do on 2nd and goal at the 22. Wozni scored, but there was a chop block against the Shamrocks. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Dustin with a clean pocket. And it's going to be intentional grounding against Dustin. Remember, it's got to go back to the line of scrimmage. And there's got to be a receiver within range. It would be a loss of down if they call intentional grounding. Did not look like he was outside the tackle box. It'll either be 3rd and goal at the 22 or 3rd and goal at the 22. And they'll mark it the 23. It's been a very impressive opening drive by St. Pat's, but the chop block has really hurt them. Need some positive yardage here. Screen pass, and he lost yardage. Huge tackle in the open field. Lost 5 yards. Great open field tackle that time by Angel Chaidez. Be a long field goal. You can't lose yardage on a play like that to attempt the field goal. So now no choice but the Hail Mary. Can you get enough push up front from your offensive line to give Dustin enough time to roll outside the pocket, get it to his wide receivers? Dustin to the end zone, triple team. Cincino knocked down. Really easy that time for Fenwick. You'd like to see on that play, Kara, try to get 2 wide receivers to the left, try to give your guys a better chance on a deflection to score the touchdown, but Dustin read the pressure. He had to get rid of it quick.
Yeah, plenty of air underneath that ball too, and hang time in the air.
If they had attempted the field goal, it would have been a tough one for Schwab. It would have been 45 yards. I just don't think you want to try that in a cold weather game like this. And even if you kick it, you're still down 5. It was a break for Fenwick. St. Pat's had scored, but the chop block happened, and because of it, Fenwick kept him out of the end zone. Instant penetration that time by St. Pat's as they get off their block well for the TFL. No Gladden yet. Remember, he left earlier in the half with a leg injury. Ball to 29. 2nd and 9. They gave him a yard. D'Elise moves over left. Hosty calling out the plays, signaling to his wide receivers. Clean pocket for Hosty. Looks downfield. It's a good throw, but dropped that time by Moore.
Now that was excellent coverage by St. Pat's secondary all the way across the line. Those wide receivers were well marked.
Kind of surprised they're not using more crossing routes. St. Pat's has done a good job on the fly routes tonight. 3rd and 9. That stops the clock too at 7:35. St. Pat's showing blitz. Jack Clancy in there. Clancy at the line of scrimmage. Back to a zone look. Help is there on defense. Great throw by Hosty. Threads the nettle well, and it's 1st and 10 for the Friars, completed to Durkin. Wow.
Yeah, just the height on a player like that can keep his vision upfield and see his open receivers, and he hit that one right on the money for the 1st down conversion.
St. Pat's thought they had him where they wanted him, but Hosty had other ideas with a beautiful throw to Durkin. Hosty leading the offense well, up by 8. 7-11 remaining in the quarter. 3 wide receiver look. Another clean pocket for Hosty. One thing he's got to work on, Kara, is try to get that ball out a little quicker. When it's laid like that, allows the cornerback to get back into the play to knock it down. Receivers have a little bit of trouble getting separation as well. It's holding against the Friars. Right now it's 2nd and 10. If I were St. Pat's, I'd accept it, but see what they want to do. That was such a big completion by Hosty, because if they don't complete it, it would have given St. Pat's decent field position on the punt, because remember, Fenwick has struggled in the kicking game tonight. St. Pat's accepts the flag. Ball placed at the 32. It's getting a little bit colder here in River Grove.
First down and about 18 yards to go for a first down from there.
2nd and 20. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. 1 in the backfield. Hosty surveys the field. Double coverage. And it's knocked away by the St. Patrick Shamrocks, Trevor Wozni.
That is scores incomplete. In on the coverage for the Shamrocks, number 21, Trevor Wozni. That brings up 2nd down and about 18 yards to go.
2nd and 20.
From the Federal 32-yard line.
They're going to split their wide receivers. Help in front. They got a lot of blockers. Got a lot on that completion. Looking for unsportsmanlike conduct after Moore made the catch. 3rd and very manageable coming up now for the Friars as they do a little hurry-up action.
3rd down and 5 for the Friars from their own 47-yard line.
Ball at the 47. See what they want to do here. I'm thinking trying to get it to Moore. Screen pass over to Williams. He'll get the 1st and more. Good tackle, but Williams got the 1st. Man, that little guy in Williams, he is fearless, Kara. Just caught that ball, went right into contact for the first down.
Took that hard. Still got the 1st down.
I know you want to block, but you got to be legal to do that. That time it was a legal man downfield against Fenwick. 3rd 9. Seen a lot of yellow laundry tonight. It's impacted the game for both teams. Would have been a 1st down. Now it's 3rd 9. Handoff. Close to the 1st down. They got it over to DeElise, and he got the 1st. One in the backfield, 3 to the right. Ball's loose. Was it caught?
It looked like it
was initially dropped.
Angle.
St. Pat says they caught it. It was definitely a forward pass, no lateral. So it's got to be on a fly. St. Pat's intercepts it. What a break for the Shamrocks. Wozni, who else? Touchdown runs and a pick tonight.
Doing it on the offensive end and also doing it on the defensive end. And we spoke about how imperative it was for St. Pat's to come out and adjust their defense against Fenwick. And they've stopped Fenwick right in their tracks. A. B, they get the ball at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, close to the 50. They're going to mark it at the 47. I mean, that's not on the quarterback. You got to catch the ball. Lemke with a nice dump-off pass. Fumble, ball loose. Fenwick after it. Was his knee down? Whew. Close, but Wazzy's knee was indeed down. He looks tired. You see Wozni coming back to the sideline. He looks exhausted.
Player doing it everywhere in the field.
Second and 12. Handoff to Wozni, spin move. Past the initial line of scrimmage, now to midfield. Third down coming up. Third and 6 at the 50. They're going to split the wide receivers. One in the backfield, 4 down territory for the Shamrocks. Dustin. Fumble. Ball on the turf. St. Pat's goes after it. They got it. Wow. Fenwick, they just keep coming after you. Nothing phases this team. And partner for Nicholas Dustin, a hard lesson to learn sometimes. You just got to take the sack.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to protect that ball and get on the ground to prevent any turnover. Good persistence, though, from Fenwick. Hungry to get that ball back.
Ball at the 34. Final reminder that the text line's open. Your favorite high school, college, your NFL memory. Text 330-957-7653. Here comes the Fenwick offense, looking to make it hurt on St. Patrick. IHSA back in the game. He's been very hostile if you're a fan of St. Patrick's. He's been dynamite at the quarterback position. Takes a handoff, quarterback sneak, goes right into the slide. Fenwick wants a flag, but Parker looks like they touched him right before he slid. Any kind of score makes it a 2-score game. Fenwick would love to get the ball inside the 10 to think field goal. Clean pocket for Hosty. Down the sideline to Ramia's touchdown pass. Ramia scores on the coverage, was Layden. Right on the money by Hosty. We've been saying that a lot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's going to capitalize on all of your mistakes, and Fenwick gets the ball back. First play set up for a nice touchdown reception. Fenwick having some life here in the third quarter.
Well, this would have been a big win for St. Pat's. They would have moved to 5-2. Now they got Loyola next week, and if they don't win that one, they'd be 4-4 with a winner-go-home matchup against St. Viator. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is somewhat good. It's right down the middle, though. 36-21. We'll take a break. Fenwick back up by 15 here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world.
36-21, ball at the 40. 36-21 in favor of St. Pat's. That one hurt for St. Pat's fans. Dustin fumbled inside the 35. The definition of a squib kick picked up by St. Pat's. Past the 35 to the 37. Still got plenty of time.
Returning the kick for the Shamrocks. Number 57,
I mean, really, Fenwick is winning this game.
Yep.
St. Pat's has not made a lot of mistakes.
Yep. And had some life there at the end of the second quarter, putting some great drives together, but just not consistency from start to finish and across each quarter here for St. Pat's.
Handoff to Wozni. Wozni with room. Wozni breaks through a tackle at the 48. He's brought down.
in on the stop for the Friars, number 3, Connor Stutz. Gain of 9 yards on
St. Pat's would love to score before the end of the quarter, but
correction for the Shamrocks.
would just love to score in general to make it 36-28. See if they go with a hurry-up offense look. Wozni, hesitation move in the open field, brought down inside the 50, now in Fenwick territory.
For the Friars, number 75, Rico Jensen. That game is good enough for a Shamrock first down.
First and 10 for the Shamrocks. Clock runs again, now with 2:28 to go. Three to the right. Dustin gets the snap, hands it off to Wozni. Wozni on the right. The pursuit is there, and a beautiful open field tackle at the sideline. Big tackle by French.
And on the stop of the Friars, number 15, Donald French. Gain of a yard of the play. With some second down, 9 yards to go for St. Patrick from the Fenwick 46-yard line.
Fenwick has not trailed all day. At one point, they went 4 for 4 on their possessions. Little pop pass over to Wozni, goes into his blockers. Help was there, but Fenwick got off a blocker to tackle him. Third and medium coming up for the St. Patrick Shamrocks. Shouldn't be this cold, Care. It's October 7th.
They what, 80 degrees, 70 degrees earlier this week?
Yeah, now it's 47. Dustin to Sensino. Sensino with the catch. Flag on the play. Initial inclination is defensive pass interference against Fenwick. Assuming the catch stands, St. Patrick will decline it. And Sensino holding his helmet. DPI, and they'll decline it.
Result of the play is first down, 10 yards to go for St. Patrick from the Fenwick 20-yard line.
You know, Fenwick has not been great defensively, but give credit where credit is due. They've kept Sensino in check. Ball at the 20 to Wozni. Still on his feet. Close to the 25. Clock continues to run. Under 40 seconds left in the quarter. If St. Pat's wants, they could get 2 more plays off, but I think this will be the last play of the quarter. 3 over to the left. Handoff. Wozni to the end zone. Touchdown! The 5'9" tailback does it again. And St. Patrick, a PAT away from making it a one-score game.
And this kid has endurance. He's been all over the field, right, on the offense and the defense, but still has the capability and the endurance to make a hard run to the end zone. Incredible athlete to watch.
Not sure about this decision by St. Patrick. If you don't get the 2, you're still down 2 scores.
Right.
Clean pocket for Dustin, deflected. And it remains a 2-score deficit.
That one's gonna hurt.
Well, even so, Kara, you got to find a way to get some stops on defense, even if it's 36-28. The story of the game has been Fenwick has gone down the field at their whim, whatever they want to do.
And really turning it on later in the quarter, too, being able to come away with some clutch plays and just continuing to push that lead. But, you know, this is the 4th quarter. You're going to be exhausted. You have to have that mental check-in to be able to close out a tight rivalry game at this point in the season.
So for St. Pat's to win, they need 2 scores, assuming they can shut out Fenwick's offense in the 4th quarter. Can they do it? We'll find out in a couple minutes. You're watching the Friars against the Shamrocks here on SBS.
Is this December or is this October?
So he's going to get out for the Shamrocks. Michael Schwab back to receive for the Friars.
36-27 in favor of the Fenwick Friars. Schwab on the kick. And it's going to go out of bounds. Illegal procedure against St. Pat's. Ball at the 35. St. Pat certainly could have done without that. Sometimes this game, Kara, can be an easy game, and for Fenwick, because they've got the field position, that's really been the story. It's hard for St. Pat's to tackle these guys in the open field, number one. Number two, it's hard when Fenwick's got the ball inside the 50 every possession, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely.
65 yards to the end zone. St. Pat's trying to keep him out of the end zone. It's been hard for them to do that tonight. And handoff for a small gain for the Fenwick Friars. And that will do it for the quarter. Up by 9 is Fenwick, but we still have 12 minutes to go here on Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Hit it again.
Hey, this is Sarah Greenfalk here of Psych Edge. Do you want to learn how to improve your performance, improve your confidence, improve your resilience? Coming this fall, Psych Edge is releasing 5 workshop classes that will give you the skills to accomplish your goals with increased confidence and resilience. This is your opportunity to learn all the main psychological pieces of mental training in one place, plus the process I've developed to build these skills. Go to my website, psychedge.club, and sign up for my monthly blog emails, which will include the updates on the class release.
Fenwick football, 1st and 10. And a handoff past the 40 to the 45. They give it to D'Elise again. If you're wondering, the largest Fenwick lead was when it was 29-14. St. Pat's got as close to down 8, had a score that was called back on a chop block. Direct snap run. As they get it over, they give that time to Nathaniel Marshall. St. Pat's can score offense, and they can get offense in a hurry. They scored 55 points on Marion Central, 24 last week. They're going to need offense in a hurry tonight. They're going to need at least 37 for the win. Second and 10. Hosty with time. Hosty looks downfield. He's got a man, but bad pass. It was a fly route, but Hosty led him to the right. Moore the intended target. Third and 10. Can Hosty do it again? Trying to draw him offside. Hosty. Gets the ball. Pressure comes. And Hosty had no choice but to just heave it up to Williams. So they blitz that time, Kara. It works to fruition. 10:54 on the clock. Plenty of time for St. Pat's to get the win. Fuller is deep for St. Pat's. Don't know why they would go for it. They only have one punter on the roster. It's the combo kicker / punter in Avalos. 4th and 10. And now Hosty deep for the potential pooch punt. Hosty. Little rugby-style punt, terrible one, and it goes out past the 40, but it takes a friendly Fenwick roll, and that's saying it lightly. It was a little shallow on that punt formation, Kerry. You'd like to see him get maybe 3 yards back to give him more run to punt
absolutely.
The ball.
And that ball pretty much just went straight lateral across the other sideline.
I mean, he ran out of time to punt. He really just kind of panicked and just kind of kicked it as fast as he could. Kind of surprised he wasn't back further on the punt. Well, gut check time for St. Pat's. Can they score twice and stop Fenwick from scoring? It's always an exciting game at Triton College. Always a fun time for St. Patrick High School. Handoff up the middle. Wozni gets a couple. They need 2 scores because they went for 2 and didn't get it.
9 yards to go for the Shamrocks from their own 33-yard line.
67 yards from the end zone. They need 2 scores regardless. It's a nice screen pass to Fico. Fico with blockers out in front, and he gets the first down. Every time they need a big play, Joseph Fico's there. He had the 2-point conversion catch in the win over Marion Catholic. That time they run him on the screen.
That gain is good enough for a Shamrock first down. 10 yards to go for St. Patrick from their own 47-yard line.
3 to the left, 1 to the right. Down by 9. Takes the handoff. Brosnan dropped it. Very close coverage that time by Brown.
For number 10, Mikey Brosnan is broken up by number 26. Adrian Brown brings up second down, 10 yards to go for the Shamrocks from their own 47-yard line.
Ball at the 47, 3 to the left. They bunch the wide receivers. Another screen pass.
Ooh.
Huge open field tackle.
Yeah, read nicely by the defense for Fenwick.
French again. Only problem with the screen pass, partner, if you got players on defense that are good in the open field, short gains every time. Running out of time for possessions. Unless you get sacked, you assume they're going to go for it. 3rd and 10. Over the middle to Lemke again. Lemke on his feet. And he's brought down past the 35. The 3rd down receiver, it seems like. They've gone to him a lot on 3rd down, and he delivers. He's got good size at the position, 6'2", 190 from Edison Park. Handoff and didn't get much. He's got to be tired. I mean, he's done everything tonight. Usually they use Holloway, but he must be dealing with an injury. They've got Arteaga as well, but he's just a sophomore. Screen pass to Fico. Good block by Lemke. Fico brought down that time by D'Elise. Inside the 30, 3rd down again.
5 yards on the play. Brings up 3rd down and 5 yards to go for the Shamrocks from the Flyer 28-yard line.
Snap to Dustin, and it's deflected away by the sophomore and Marshall.
Going nowhere. That was all palm.
4th and 5. Can St. Pat's do it again? What do you think? Go to Lemke again, Kara?
He seems to be pretty solid and clutch here in the 4th quarter. I think he's got some momentum on his side.
Got to give him some time to throw. We've seen some deflections. Knocking that ball down on the defensive line by Fenwick. Clean pocket for Dustin. He's going to roll to the right, see if he does it himself. Lemke, the intended target, knocked away. I think he might have had room to run, but I can understand why Dustin wanted to try to get it to Lemke there.
Great coverage by Fenwick, too, knowing that Lemke is probably going to be the go-to receiver.
Is broken up incomplete. The Shamrocks will turn the ball over on downs. Fenwick takes over 1st down, 10 yards to go from their own 28-yard line.
Well, if you get a 3 and out, still in this game, Fenwick would love to score, obviously, but they just want to get 1st downs to burn some clock. What's the old expression, the 7-minute offense? 7:54 remaining. Handoff, and you love to see it as their tailback and Gladden's back into the game.
Running the ball. Running the ball on the play for Fenwick, number 4, Will Gladden.
7:46 remaining.
He is run out of bounds at the Fenwick 32-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 8 yards to go for the Flyers from there.
2 to the left. 1 to the right as play stops at the sideline. Clock stops still. Handoff. Pressure comes. And a big tackle by St. Pat's. 7:34 remaining in the quarter.
And on the stop of the Shamrocks, number 57, Aiden Gomez. Gain of about 2 yards on the play. Brings up 3rd down, 5 yards to go for the Flyers from their own 33-yard line.
3rd and 5. Ball at the 33. Hosty with a clean pocket. Looks downfield, open man, and just overthrew his intended target, and Will Gladden. Actually, no, that was Dennis Moore, the intended target. The problem with that, partner, is it stops the clock.
Yep.
But I understand why you want to take your shot, try to put the game away with a touchdown pass. Here we go again, 4th and 5. They don't do typical punt formations. Even when Hosty is back a couple yards, it's not a typical punt formation. It's a clean punt, no fair catch, and immediately tackled is Fuller. St. Pat's with all 3 timeouts. You'd love to score in, let's say, 3 minutes. Clock stops on a first down. That was a killer, though, when they had 4th and 5 inside the 30 and they couldn't score. They've had their chances. It's also hard to win when you give up 36 points. But here we go, down by 9. Dustin over to Fuller. Fuller, stiff arm, still on his feet, brought down inside the 40-yard line. That was huge, Kara. The first down and more. They got 30 yards on one play.
Yeah, great execution coming from this St. Pat's team to start this drive.
They go with a little hurry-up action. Trips to the left, one to the right. Brosnan has had a very quiet game. Lemke has been his go-to guy tonight. He's also found Sensino a couple of times. One in the backfield. Rolls out to the right. Double coverage, and that was more of a getting rid of the ball than trying to complete it. Wozni, the intended target. Second and 10 at the 38. Clock stops at 6:20. It's a screen pass over to Fuller. Fuller with blockers in front. 1st and 10. Fuller, ball loose. And St. Pat's luckily got it back.
Yeah, at this point in the game, goal number 1 is hang on to the ball if you're St. Pat's. But Fuller just has great breakaway speed, too.
You know, you could almost just go down or go out of bounds when you get the first, because the clock's going to stop regardless on the first down. You don't have to keep pushing for more yardage. You're running out of time for possession, so possession is more crucial than yards obtained. 1st and 10. Screen pass again. Fico. Lemke out in front of the block. Fico goes into contact. Past the 15, close to the 11. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for St. Patrick. Really quick offense. No need to panic if you're Fenwick yet. Remember, St. Pat's needs 2 scores, and you've seen enough from your offense that they could go down the field again. Pop pass to Wozni. Wozni close to the 10, and a group of defenders greeted Wozni with a tackle. All right, partner, your head coach, Luke Mertens. You need 2 scores regardless. Are you okay with the field goal here?
I think so.
Shotgun. Looking downfield. What? Oh, thought he had a one-handed catch. Sensino, the intended target. 3rd and 8 at the 11. You do not need to score here. You can get the first down. It's a little bit colder, but no wind. Definitely within Schwab's range to make it 36-30 if you don't get the 8 yards. It was. They had the opportunity to beat down 36-28, but they went for 2 instead of the PAT. Now they trail by 9. 1 in the backfield, that's Wozni. Pitch play to Wozni was a bad pitch. Wozni, full head of steam. He's brought down inside the 10, close to the 5. Well, you need 2 scores regardless. You're close to a first.
Brings up 3rd down, 7 yards to go for the Shamrocks at the Fenwick 7-yard line. Into the game to attempt a field goal for the Shamrocks.
Schwab looking to make it 36-30.
I think also you're
and I
putting
think this
a lot
is the
of
right
faith,
call. You want to be aggressive, but
you have a lot of faith in your defense. You're putting a lot of your faith in your defense on the ensuing drive.
Flag on the play. Oh boy, is it against St. Pat's?
There is penalty markers on the field. Preliminary signal is.
Oh wow! It's offside against Fenwick. Now you could go for it if you want to.
Yep.
Oh man, Fenwick, all you have to do is stay on side. Easier said than done. It's a lot easier to play an armchair linebacker than it is regular linebacker, right? I was a great armchair linebacker, but I don't think I was as good of a regular linebacker as
you need to get down
Brian
there in
Urlacher.
the huddle, Kyle.
I don't know, partner. You want to go for it or you want to kick?
I think they're going to stay with the kicking team.
The penalty will move the ball down to the Fenwick 3-yard line. It will still bring up 4th down. And now it's 4th down.
Yeah, I agree. You need to score a touchdown anyway, so why not try to score it here?
Yep.
Play the game. Wozni, did he get it? I think he got it.
Carrying the ball on the play for the Shamrocks, number 21, Trevor Wozni.
It's going to be close. Wow.
There will be an official's timeout for a measurement.
Wow. We'll take a 12-second break. I think he got it, but we'll see. It's the Shamrocks against the Friars here on SBS.
Record this. That's nice, huh?
Oh boy. Fenwick gets the friendly roll. Well, without instant replay, even if you have instant replay, it's so hard to tell where the forward progress was stopped. I still think that was the right call. If you kicked the field goal, it would have been 4th and 1. You'd be down 6. And I'd love your point of view here, Kara. You'd be down 6, but you're only a yard away from the first down, 3 yards away from the touchdown. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. I think it was the right call. That time it just didn't work out for
absolutely.
for
I
St.
think you
Pat's.
have to go for it, especially when you have the penalty and get yourself some extra yardage.
Well, now St. Pat's they got some problems now. A safety, if it happens, would make it a one-score game. And kind of surprised they want to go shotgun in their own end zone. Now they go under center. Should be a false start. And see, that's why I don't like shotgun care, is because if you have a false start in your own end zone, it's a safety. Luckily, he was right under center, so the left tackle was outside of the end zone. Half the distance to the goal.
Second down, I mentioned first down, and about 11.5 to go for the Friars from the 1.5 yard line.
1.5 yard line. Probably just going to be a quarterback sneak. You're up by 2 scores, so the Friars just want to get out of their own end zone without fumbling or throwing a pick or giving up a safety. Taking their time, trying to draw them offside. What a big stop that was at the 2-yard line. Battaglia is irate, trying to call the timeout for what seemed like an eternity, and they finally gave it to him. We'll take a timeout as well. It's 36-27 in favor of the Friars here on SBS.
Sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
It's been a fun one here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone. See what Fenwick wants to do here. Ball at the 1-yard line. They're going to run shotgun, surprisingly. Handoff, as you'd expect, close to a safety. Woo! Good instant penetration delivered by the St. Pat's defensive line. You surprised they're running shotgun, Kara, not just doing some quarterback sneaks, get that ball out of the end zone?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just especially with how well they were able to do the quarterback sneaks in the early part of the game.
You could run Wildcat, well, Wildcat usually shotgun, but 5 wide receiver set. Pressure comes! Big hit! And it was clean. Delivered to Williams. He's slow to get up. Fuller was there. I'm just not too sure what Fenwick's trying to do. Just, you know, run it 3 times and punt. Your defense has been great the second half. Putting yourself in a spot where you give up a safety and make it a 1-score game. Even if St. Pat scores, Care, on their next possession, unless they keep all 3 timeouts, they're going to have to do an onside kick regardless. Pressure comes again. Here comes the blitz. Hosty looks to the right. And the intended target was Moore. On the coverage was Fico. And here we go. For Fenwick, this is not what they wanted. A punt at their own 1-yard line. So the punter's going to have to be close to the end line. Did you see that Dolphins game the other day, Kara, where the punter punted it in his blocker's butt? Yeah, he punted it right. It was a butt punt.
That's a new strategy.
It wasn't on purpose.
That's called a bunt.
Yeah. Decent rugby-style punt. Fuller on the catch. He's at the 30-yard line. Goes upfield with it. Inside the 20, past the 15. St. Pat's. Seems like we should start calling St. Patrick the Cats of the Chicago Catholic League, because this has to be their 8th life, it seems like.
Right. Well,
First and 10 at the 12. If they score in the next minute, you don't have to do the onside kick if you don't want to. How big was it to go for 2 and not get it? Dustin to the end zone. Knocked away. French again, he's been brilliant at defensive back tonight for Fenwick, and it showed on that play. Do not need a touchdown yet. You could get a first to keep the drive alive. 3:49 remaining here in this 4th quarter. 36-27. Dustin, dropped by Lemke. It was a good throw. Lemke dropped it. Third and 10. Ball at the 12-yard line. Dustin to the end zone again. Lemke, the intended target. You need 2 scores regardless. It would be a 29-yard field goal. I didn't really like what I saw on offense from St. Pat's.
Yep.
Did refuse to run the ball. I get it, Wozni has got to be exhausted,
Yep.
but would have liked to see Wozni or one of your backup running backs get a little bit closer, make it third and manageable. Colin Hay, the third-string quarterback, will be the holder. Huge kick. Good hold, good snap, and the kick is far to the left. Oh, that stinks for the Fenwick, for the St. Pat's Shamrocks. Now Fenwick just needs a couple of first downs to end this game. Just seemed like they were right on the doorstep of scoring a touchdown. A great return that time by Fuller. He got 18 yards on the return, but they didn't gain a single yard on their corresponding possession. And Schwab, who's usually perfect kicking the ball, wide left. And Fenwick can now put the game away with a couple of first downs. Handoff to Dialise, gets a couple, still on his feet, brought down past the 25. They're going to bring Lucas Stuckert into the game. He's a sophomore from St. Francis Borgia. He's 5'6", 220 pounds.
9 yards on the play. That'll bring up second down of the yard to go.
2nd and 1.
Correction for the Friars from the 29-yard line. There is a friendly marker on the field. Commentary signal is personal foul face mask against St. Patrick.
It's a face mask against St. Pat's. It's a killer.
The Friars will take over from there. First down and 10 yards to go.
Don't go anywhere. The post-game show brought to you by SBS. Coming up after this game. See if we can get Wozni or maybe another player. Clean pocket for Hosty. Instant penetration on the blitz with St. Pat's.
Number 50. Kevin Horn, there is a timeout on the field charged to the Shamrocks.
Shamrocks call their first timeout of the half, and we'll take a quick timeout as well. You're watching the Friars against the Shamrocks here on SBS.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics. And we have watermarks.
Second and 12 for Fenwick. Trips to the left. Handoff to Dialise. Tripped up. Third down coming up. Another timeout called by the Shamrocks. They've got one left remaining in the half. What do you think? What did you see from St. Pat's that they need to work on for their next game against Loyola?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's stopping the run and stopping the offense to start off the game. But I think also at this point, it's consistency over quarters. And this is the St. Pat's team that scores more and more points as the game goes on. But they have to be able to have that output to start the game.
It's just so hard to win a game when you've given up 36 points and you're asking your offense to score 40.
And dug yourself into a hole early on, and to fight back from that is just going to be exhausting physically and mentally for this St. Pat's team.
I'd like to see in their next matchup get a little bit more creative. We'll check the injury report, obviously, of Holloway. He's a big part of their offense, but try to get other people involved besides Wozni. Give him a breather and see if you can get something done besides just handing off to Wozni. Handoff up the middle. Still on his feet. 1st and 10 and more. St. Pat's going for the ball. And wow, throwing down a Fenwick player outside of the play, looking for a personal foul. Being thrown to the ground was Lucas Makuzis. That won't do it yet, but just about. For St. Pat's, got to find a way to defend that Wildcat, because you assume Loyola, they're led by a great coaching staff up in Wilmette. They're going to run some Wildcat. They're going to watch this film, and they are going to dominate St. Pat's, at least attempt to with the Wildcat, just like Fenwick did today. Good job on the tackle. That time delivered by Jack Clancy. Leonillo Soriano into the game now. That is their 3rd and final timeout for St. Pat's, as we will stick with the action. It's been a fun night, though, Kara. A lot of offense that we've seen tonight. A lot more offense than we saw last night on Thursday Night Football.
But big explosive plays as well. A lot of these quarterbacks really comfortable in the pocket and throwing the ball downfield. The run game has been stellar as well, and a lot of different touches on the ball.
Well, they wanted to be in the driver's seat, did St. Patrick. They won't be because of the loss tonight, assuming Fenwick doesn't fumble the football. Somehow find a way to beat Loyola. If not, it's do or die to make the playoffs against St. Viator. That'll be here at Triton College. Victory formation. And taking the knee is Hosty. Game balls tonight, Kara. For me, I'm going to give it to Hosty. For St. Patrick, Wozni gave you everything tonight. I'll give the game ball to Wozni for the Shamrocks.
Yeah, and this is a player coming off 29 rushes from last weekend, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns against Carmel. This is a player that consistently has performed game in and game out, and he did so today, but it just overall was not enough offense for St. Pat's to win this one.
It's just asking so much. I think about the Lions, in the NFL, how great Jared Goff has been, leads the league in passing touchdowns. They've lost games 38-35 and 48-45. You just can't do that consistently at any level, including the National Football League. Defense wasn't the greatest tonight. They got to work on that. But you love to see the offense from St. Pat's, because you were worried when Dustin went down. How important he is to this offense. It's obvious tonight when he's in there, it's a completely different offense. They scored 27, just wasn't enough. When he's not in there, they got shut out by St. Rita.
Yeah, I mean, that game last week against Carmel was huge for St. Pat's, especially after being blown out, shut out against St. Rita. And you felt like the offense was kind of making a turn here to close out the season.
104 remaining. Fenwick called their last time out. Another knee taken by Hosty. We don't have a play clock on the Daktronics board, so it'll be up to the officials to tell Fenwick if they need to run one more play. Well, Fenwick won last week. They dominated Marmion 35-6. And tonight wasn't dominating, but they got the job done in every way possible. When they needed to stop on defense, they got it. When they needed a touchdown on offense, they got it. And when they needed a play on special teams, they got it. All three phases worked to fruition tonight for the Fenwick Friars. The officials tell Fenwick they need to run another play, delay a game against the Friars.
Until they move the ball back in Fenwick territory at the 48-yard line. And it's still 4 down and 28 yards to go. Now the Friars call their final timeout.
If you're wondering how good Loyola is, Fenwick played them earlier in the year. They lost 41-7 to Loyola. It's going to be tough for the Shamrocks next week.
Ouch.
That's at Loyola, too. Hey, crazier things have happened in the game of football. Nobody thought that the Giants would beat the undefeated Patriots, and it happened. Never know. I never thought the Bears would win another football game, and somehow they've won 2 this year.
Could they win 3?
They could win 4.
Ooh.
See what Fenwick wants to do here. You know, something I've always thought about, Kier, if you never feel confident in your punter, you know, you're up by 9, you could do one of those plays where you do like a punt formation and the guy just runs with it to his other end zone, takes the safety.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to do that, but Hail Mary attempt. Coverage is there. Did he catch that? Okay, he dropped it. That was close to a catch. Well, St. Pat's could still win. They just got to get a touchdown in 5 seconds, an onside kick, and then a Hail Mary touchdown for the win.
That's a lofty goal, isn't it?
You could do it in Madden. If you got fantasy, if you're playing fantasy high school football, you need those PPR receptions.
From the Fenwick Flyer 48-yard line.
Dustin will take the snap at least one more time this game. 5 wide receiver set. A little pop pass, and that'll do it for the game. Run straight up with it, does Holloway. Love to see it. That'll stop the clock. St. Pat's can spike it if they want. They won't, and that'll do it for the game. St. Pat's falls 36-27. They never led in this one. They got close. They were on the doorstep, partner, but Fenwick, when they needed a stop, they got it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their defense really came up strong and really executed this game. And it's just a way that the tempo that Fenwick started this game was just a tempo throughout the course of it, and racking up so many points in the 2 quarters really put them in good position to close out a strong win.
Final thoughts about tonight. I was impressed what I saw by E.J. Hosty. Threw 4 picks against OPRF. Completely different quarterback that we saw tonight.
So comfortable in the pocket and even being scrambled outside of the pocket. I just love his range of motion, how far he can really throw the ball into the end zone. He has a good receiving core around him too. They're athletic, and he has great vision in the field. I was impressed by him.
We'll take a break. Post-game interviews. We'll try to get both St. Patrick and Fenwick. But that does it for our play-by-play broadcast. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you in a couple minutes for the post-game show. It's May 26, 2002. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals is taking place between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers. With the Lakers down by 2 in less than 10 seconds remaining, one of the NBA's winningest franchises is very close to succumbing to an insurmountable 3-1 deficit. And
while the Kings are in a great spot to win on the road, they probably shouldn't even be in this extremely stressful situation. If the Kings can hold on for the win, they'll be one step closer to reaching the NBA Finals for the first time in over 50 years. All they need is a defensive stop without fouling. And for the Lakers, they need a clutch contested shot to avoid losing their second straight home game against their in-state rival. But there's so much more happening here besides a potential 3-1 series edge or 2-2 series tie. To fully appreciate the magnitude of what happens next for both teams' fan bases, we have to do our due diligence. We have to research as much as possible. In layman's terms, we need to rewind. Down by 2 and the clock ticking, the Lakers are in a precarious spot. They can either go for the win with the 3 or try to make a contested mid-range jumper and play for overtime. The Lakers used to own the Kings in the postseason. Shaquille O'Neal even compared the team to their female counterpart in the monarchy system.
We're not worried about the Sacramento Queens.
The Kings are now playing the Lakers for the third straight time in the postseason. After nearly pulling off an 8-seed versus 1 upset in 2000, Sacramento is trying to avenge last season's playoff sweep at the hands of the two-time defending champions. Going into the 2002 postseason, the Kings were 0-5 in all 5 of their road games at the Staples Center. But things are different this time around, as the Kings won Game 3 in LA just 2 days ago. And with summer less than a month away, the Kings are seconds away from taking a very important 3-1 edge. But the team with the Western Conference's best record shouldn't be in this spot. Let me explain.
Sacramento led by 20 points at the end of the first quarter,
and they increased its cushion to as many as 24 after a dunk by Hedo Turkoglu gave his team a 48-24 lead early in the second quarter. The Lakers then made it respectable by becoming lethal from downtown. 6 of their last 8 points were via the three-pointer, including a buzzer beater by Samaki Walker at the end of the first half. Still, the Lakers are nowhere near their usual dominance against the Kings. A 14-point halftime deficit is certainly better than 24, but with Mike Bibby scoring 15 of his 18 team-leading points away from the three-point line, the Lakers are basically getting destroyed off the dribble. Every single Lakers starter has a plus-minus worse than a -5. Devion George's 7 points off the bench are quite possibly keeping Los Angeles in the game, and for the Kings, they could practically smell a trip to the NBA Finals. All they have to do is hang on for the dub. A 65-51 lead at halftime doesn't guarantee victory, of course, but the Kings can smell blood after getting swept by the Lakers during last season's Western Conference semifinals. The Kings are one step closer to achieving something they haven't done since they used to play in Rochester, New York, reach the NBA championship round. During the infancy days of the National Basketball Association, the small-market Rochester Royals defeated the New York Knickerbockers 4-3. It was a big win for the NBA, as it proved to the fans even small markets could compete with the top media markets and glamour of New York City and Boston. However, even after the team moved to the Rochester War Memorial Arena in 1955, the Harrison brothers were forced to move the team to Cincinnati in 1957, and while the Cincy Royals got close to getting back to the NBA Finals in 1963, those pesky Boston Celtics eventually defeated them 4-3 during the Eastern Conference Finals. In those days, the EC Finals were known as the Division Finals, and the Royals returned to the Division Finals in 1964. This time around, Boston easily took care of Cincinnati in 5 games, despite Oscar Robertson scoring at least 30 points in 3 of those games. Robertson, Jerry Lucas, and the Royals returned to the playoffs 3 straight seasons from 1965 to 1967, only to meet their kryptonite in the Philadelphia 76ers and the aforementioned Celtics. And by the time 1972 came around, the Kings were forced to relocate between Kansas City and Omaha, Nebraska. Kansas City became the Kings' permanent home during the 1975-76 season, and they stayed there until the 1985 regular season concluded. The last time the Kings advanced to the NBA's version of the Final Four, they played their home games in Kansas City. The Houston Rockets took care of the KC Kings in 5 games that series in 1981. And even during their time in Kansas City, the Kings got swept by the Lakers during the playoffs. That time around, it took place in the 1984 postseason. So if NBA fans take their Kansas City days into account, the Kings are 0-3 in the playoffs against Los Angeles. And for Kansas City fans who still follow the team now that they're in the capital of California, it's personal. So if the Lakers think Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, and crew are going to ease up on the home team in the second half, they have another thing coming. Not only have the Lakers been a thorn in Sacramento's side, but they also had the Utah Jazz on the ropes during the 1999 NBA playoffs, only to lose by 1 in Game 4 and during overtime of Game 5. But the Lakers had more than just Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal to bail them out of trouble. Robert Horry, or Big Shot Bob as he's sometimes called, is no stranger to the pressure cooker. When Horry was in Houston, The Rockets won back-to-back NBA titles during the Michael Jordan brief retirement years. Incredibly, Horry was almost a Detroit Piston, but the Horry for Sean Elliott 1-for-1 deal was rescinded once Elliott failed a physical because of health problems. According to Horry, when Elliott failed his physical, it inevitably saved his career. Horry then rewarded his Rockets, first defeated the Spurs, and swept the Magic to win the NBA championship. Horry, Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, and the Rockets then rallied as a 16 in the Western Conference to win a second straight NBA title in 1995. However, after coming short of a three-peat in 1996, Houston's front office decided to move Horry, Sam Cassell, and a couple of other players to Phoenix in exchange for future Hall of Famer Charles Barkley. The Phoenix trade didn't work out that well for Horry, and after Horry had a notable on-court altercation with head coach Danny Ainge, Horry's towel throw at his head coach made his days in Phoenix numbered. The Lakers pounced at the chance of acquiring a two-time NBA champion. It only cost them Cedric Cabellos in the 1997 deal. The Horry trade was done to give the team more of a veteran presence than a legitimate scoring threat, as Big Shot Bob averaged more than 11 points per game in just one of his Houston seasons. However, while not a big factor in the postseason the last two NBA Finals for the Lakers, Horry was still big against the 76ers during the 2001 Finals. 12 of his 15 total points came during the fourth quarter of Game 3. During Game 4, Horry knocked down 3 of the Lakers' 10 three-pointers en route to the win. Would Horry be needed down the stretch of this crucial Game 4? Quite possibly, since he basically stole away the starting power forward job from Samaki Walker, and by the time the third quarter ended, Horry was once again a thorn in the opponent's side. The last 3 points of the quarter came because of Horry, as the former Rocket and Sun drained 3 of his 4 shots from the free throw line. Just like that, the once proud 65-51 lead for the Kings is now just 80-73 entering the fourth quarter. But the Kings need more from Bibby if they're going to notch the victory. After scoring 18 in the first half, Sacramento's starting point guard has become a ghost. Bibby scored just 3 points in the second half, and the Kings now have to rely on Vlade Divac to get them critical buckets down the stretch. In a twist of fate, Divac used to play for the Lakers, but when Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets in 1996, Lakers general manager Jerry West fleeced the Hornets with the trade of the century by giving them Divac for the 18-year-old Hooper. While Divac is not a terrible player by any means, Bryant is one of the NBA's all-time greatest players. Divac wasn't happy about the trade, and he originally threatened to retire rather than move to North Carolina. However, the Serbian center relented on his retirement idea, and the trade became official on July 9, 1996. So not only are the Kings trying to avoid several postseason disappointing finishes at the hands of the Lakers, but Divac would like nothing better than to stick it to his former employer. And he's played great in the second half, finishing with 12 points. His 17-footer made it 98-93 Kings with just 117 remaining. Still, it would have been nice if Divac made both of his free throw attempts with under 12 seconds to go. As it currently stands, the Lakers need a 2-pointer or 2 shots at the charity stripe to force overtime. In a crazier twist of fate, Shaq made both of his free throws to keep it a 1-point deficit. Of all the people to knock down free throws, Shaq would be at the bottom of the list for the Lakers fans who trust players at the charity stripe. The future NBA Hall of Famer once missed 11 free throws in a game against the Seattle Supersonics, but Shaq, of all people, made the Kings pay for fouling him, and because of his clutch free throws, a 3-pointer can win the game. But there's no way the Lakers can win the game on a 3, right? Well, anything's possible, and with Big Shot Bob in the game, never say never. In fact, Horry is the only Laker the team trusts with a potential game winner on the line. Derek Fisher is an atrocious 1 of 7 from behind the arc tonight. Kobe has only attempted 1-3, and head coach Phil Jackson has decided to not put Devion George back into the game since he's 0 for 3 from deep range. All right, here we go. The Lakers need a 2-pointer to force overtime or a 3-pointer to even up the series. The Kings just need a defensive stop. If they can force the Lakers to brick on this possession, Sacramento can put the series on ice with a win back in Northern California. Shaq once called their opponent the Sacramento Queens. And if the Kings are playing like a women's basketball team, they certainly look like a juggernaut from the WNBA. It's Kings 99, Lakers 97, with under 12 seconds to go. Welcome to a moment in history.
As the Lakers did it at Seattle.
Big Shot Bob to the rescue once again. What a way to end it. Make sure to comment below and subscribe to Sports Broadcast Solutions.
Into the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. I'm alongside Elijah Romius, and a decisive victory today, Elijah, and that really started in the first quarter for you guys. What enabled you guys to get off to a hot start?
Just our offense, really. In the start of the game, our offense came out hot. They were scoring, doing their thing, and then the defense started to get it together towards the second half, and we really got it together and got the stops that we needed to. I think they only scored one touchdown, maybe, so that really got us going with the offense in the start.
And speaking of offense, a touchdown yourself, what allowed you to perform tonight offensively?
Just honestly, the line. Like, the linemen, they protect the quarterback, giving me enough time to get down there to the end zone. And I knew that corner, he was getting tired, so I was able to get outside on him and just catch it at the highest point.
And this team, against St. Pat's, really started to come back in the third quarter, but this team in Fenwick was resilient. What are some big takeaways before you close out the season next weekend?
Just that we need to keep playing hard, having our heart, and we need to get that first half down. Like, our defense was kind of coming out slow, and that wasn't good for us. If we had the first half down, then that game would have been sealed right away, because at the second half we got our stuff together, but before it wasn't together.
Well, enjoy the run. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at Triton College.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the postgame show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith. Well, my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
To the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. I'm alongside Pat Wozni of St. Pat's High School football, and not the outcome you guys wanted. You guys fought there in the third quarter. What were some of the big takeaways from today's game?
We didn't have the best week of practice, and you practice like you play, so we got to get back to it.
This team was able to get back into it in the third quarter. You had 2 touchdown runs. What's allowing you to perform offensively?
The whole line, they were picking up their blocks, and it was touchdowns from there.
When you look ahead to next week, it's a quick turnaround before you face a really talented Loyola team. What are going to be key factors in reapproaching next week's game?
Just really get into the film and study, and practice hard.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Welcome into the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. I'm alongside Elijah Romius, and a decisive victory today, Elijah, and that really started in the first quarter for you guys. What enabled you guys to get off to a hot start?
Just our offense, really. In the start of the game, our offense came out hot. They were scoring, doing their thing, and then the defense started to get it together towards the second half, and we really got it together and got the stops that we needed to. I think they only scored one touchdown maybe, so that really got us going with the offense in the start.
And speaking of offense, a touchdown yourself, what allowed you to perform tonight offensively?
Just honestly, the line, like the linemen, they protect the quarterback, giving me enough time to get down there to the end zone. And I knew that corner, he was getting tired, so I was able to get outside on him and just catch it at the highest point.
And this team, against St. Pat's, really started to come back in the third quarter, but this team in Fenwick was resilient. What are some big takeaways before you close out the season next weekend?
Just that we need to keep playing hard, having our heart, and we need to get that first half down. Like, our defense was kind of coming out slow, and that wasn't good for us. If we had the first half down, then that game would have been sealed right away, because at the second half we got our stuff together, but before it wasn't together.
Well, enjoy the run. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at Triton College. Welcome into the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. I'm alongside Pat Wozni of St. Pat's High School Football, and not the outcome you guys wanted. You guys fought there in the third quarter. What were some of the big takeaways from today's game?
You know, we didn't have the best week of practice, and you practice like you play, so we got to get back to it.
This team was able to get back into it in the third quarter. You had 2 touchdown runs. What's allowing you to perform offensively?
The whole line, they were picking up their blocks, and it was touchdowns from there.
When you look ahead to next week, it's a quick turnaround before you face a really talented Loyola team. What are going to be key factors in reapproaching next week's game?
Just really get into the film and study and practice hard.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.